Okay? So welcome sa ating online lectures of differential calculus or calculus 1. So for today, our topic will be derivative of exponential functions. For the formulas, so the derivative of a raised to u is equal to a raised to u ln of a multiplied by the derivative of u with respect to x. So take note that a here is any constant value. So it's either any number or any mathematical values that has constant value, or any mathematical notations that has constant in value, like pi or e. And u here is a function of x. So that is u as a function of x. So when you get the derivative of a raised to u, that is a raised to u ln of a, or ln of the base, multiplied by the derivative of the exponent. So let's say our a, or our constant value, is e. So we will have e raised to u multiplied by ln of e, multiplied by the derivative of u with respect to x. But applying properties of logarithm, ln of e has the value of 1. Therefore, that this part will be cancelled out. So when we get the derivative of e raised to u, it is simply e raised to u multiplied by the derivative of u with respect to x. So let's apply the following formulas to the following sets of examples. So let's find the derivative of the following. So for number 1, let's have number 1. We have y is equal to 3 raised to 2x. Okay? So in this case, so we have a is equal to 3. And we have u, exponent, that is 2x. So when we get the derivative of u with respect to x, so that is simply 2. Then, substituting, our y is now equal to a raised to u. Using the formula that we have, y prime is equal to a raised to u ln of a multiplied by the derivative of u with respect to x. Substituting, y prime is a, which is 3, raised to u, which is 2x, ln of a, so that is simply ln of 3, multiplied by the derivative of u with respect to x, that is simply 2. So y prime, or the first derivative, is simply 2 multiplied by ln of 3. These values are constant, so we may use this notation. So multiplied by 3 raised to 2x. So this will be our answer. Okay? So we cannot multiply or distribute 2 by 3 and arrive with 6 because we have here an exponent of raised to 2x. So hindi natin siya pwedeng pagsamahin. So we can leave this function as this one. Okay? So this is our final answer. So let's try the second example. So example number 2. So we have y is equal to e raised to 4x. So in this case, yung base natin is e. So we'll be using the second formula. So let's have u is equal to 4x. So when you get the derivative of u with respect to x, that is simply 4. Then our y is now equal to e raised to u. When we get the derivative of this one, following the second formula, that is e raised to u multiplied by du over dx, or multiplied by the derivative of u with respect to x. So with that, we can substitute. So our first derivative is e raised to u. So that is e raised to 4x. So copy lang. Then derivative of u with respect to x is 4. So simplifying, y prime natin is 4e raised to 4x. So ganun lang siya ginagawa. Okay? So let's have another one. So for example number 3, we have y is equal to e raised to negative x squared. Okay? So let's let u is equal to negative x squared. So when we get the derivative of u with respect to x, so that is simply negative to x. Then we now have y is equal to e negative x squared is simply u. Then when we get the derivative of u, when we get the derivative of y, that is y prime, so we have e raised to u, so that is e raised to u, derivative of u with respect to x. So solving for the first derivative, that is e raised to u, which is negative x squared, multiplied by the derivative of u with respect to x, that is negative 2x. Therefore, y prime is equal to negative 2x e raised to negative x squared. So here is your answer. So we're just substituting. Okay, so let's proceed. Let's have example number 4. So we have y is equal to x squared e raised to 3x. So as you can see, this is the derivative of product. So let's solve this one directly. So diretsuhin na natin. So first derivative or the y prime. So derivative of product, copy. Then take the derivative. Plus copy. Then take the derivative. So copy muna natin sa x squared. Then take the derivative of e raised to 3x. So that is in the form of e raised to u. And as we have done during the first example, so the derivative of a raised to u is a raised to u multiplied by the derivative of u with respect to x, or simply the derivative of the exponent with respect to x. So derivative of a raised to 3x is a raised to 3x multiplied by the derivative of exponent, which is simply 3. Plus, copy naman natin si e raised to 3x. Then let's get the derivative of x squared using the general power formula, so that is simply 2x. Okay? So simplifying, y prime is equal to 3x squared e raised to 3x plus 2x e raised to 3x. So you may use this as your answer, or you may present it in factored form. So common monomial factor, that is xe raised to 3x multiplied by 3x plus 2. So nilabas lang natin yung mga common. So any of these two can be your final answer. So you may present your final answer in expanded form or in factored form. Parehas lang yan. Okay, so let's proceed with the next examples. So examples number 5 and 6. So for example number 5, so we have y is equal to e raised to x multiplied by x squared minus 2x plus 2. So y is equal to e raised to x multiplied by x squared minus 2x plus 2. So again, this is derivative of product. So that is simply copy, then take the derivative of this, plus copy, then take the derivative of the other one. So let's go directly. Y prime are the first derivative. So copy, then take the derivative of this, that is simply 2x minus 2, plus copy, so x squared minus 2x plus 2, then take the derivative of e raised to 3x, e raised to x, that is a raised to x multiplied by the derivative of x, which is simply 1. Therefore, y prime is equal to, so let's distribute. So we have a raised to x times 2x minus 2 a raised to x, then plus a raised to x times x squared minus a raised to x times 2x plus a raised to x times 2. So we can cancel out uh, these values, yung common. Therefore, our y prime, yung natira sa atin, is simply a raised to x multiplied by x squared, or x squared multiplied by a raised to x. So let's have number 6. Okay, so for number 6, we have y is equal to e raised to 3x multiplied by cosine of 5x. Okay, so let's solve this. Again, this is derivative of product. So first derivative, so copy, so e raised to 3x. Then derivative of cosine, that is derivative of trigonometric function. So recall that the derivative of cosine is negative sign. So that is negative. So this should be negative sign of 5x multiplied by the derivative of 5x, which is 5. So we should not forget the derivative ng other functions na na-discuss na natin. So again, copy, take the derivative. So copy e raised to 3x times derivative of cosine 5x is negative sine 5x times derivative of 5x, which is 5. And plus, copy naman natin si cosine 5x multiplied by the derivative of a raised to 3x. So that is a raised to u, derivative of u, so derivative of 3x is simply 3. So simplifying, y prime is equal to negative 5 e raised to 3x sine of 5x plus 3 e raised to 3x cosine 5x. So again, you may use this expanded form or you may use the factored out form, since the common factor here is a raised to 3x. So unahin ko lang to. So that is 3 cosine 5x minus 5 sine of 5x. So this will be our answer for problem number 6. Okay, so let's proceed with problems with the succeeding problems. So let's have problem 7 up to 12. Okay, so let's continue solving this. So for problem number 7, as ko lang to. So let's have problem number 7. So we have y is equal to e raised to x plus ln of x. So we can let u as x plus ln of x. Then let's get the derivative of u with respect to x. Okay, so the derivative of u with respect to x is 1 plus the derivative of ln x is what? Derivative of u over u. So that is simply 1 over x. So take note of that. The derivative of logarithmic function. So the derivative of ln of x is derivative of x, which is 1 over x. Okay, so therefore, our y is now e raised to u. So when we get the first derivative, that is e raised to u multiplied by du over dx. So our y prime is equal to e raised to u, which is x plus ln of x, multiplied by, derivative of u with respect to x, that is 1 plus 1 over x. Okay, so you can present your answer like this, or so applying properties of loss of exponent, so that is e raised to x plus ln x. So we can use certain loss. So we can write it as e raised to x multiplied by e raised to ln of x multiplied by 1 plus 1 over x. Okay, so we have y prime is equal to e raised to x times e raised to ln of x. So I just expand this function. So instead of writing it as e raised to x plus ln x, I can write it as e raised to x times e raised to ln of x. So that is same base, add exponent. So pabaliktad lamang. So same base, which is e, add exponent. So that is x plus ln x. So, hinimay ko lang. Multiplied by 1 plus 1 over x. So, take note that e raised to ln is 1. Applying property of logarithm. So, that is e raised to ln. So, when the base of the exponent and the base of the logarithmic function is the same, it can be cancelled out. So, take note that ln is the logarithm to the base e. So, we can write it as e raised to log of x to the base e. And notice that the base of the exponent and the base of the logarithm, which is e, is the same. So, you can cancel that one out. Hence, you can write it simply as e raised to x instead of e raised to ln of x. It will become x alone, multiplied by 1 plus 1 over x. Simplifying, y prime is equal to x, e raised to x, multiplied by 1 plus 1 over x. Then, let's distribute this. So, our y prime is equal to, so x e raised to x plus x times 1 over x, that will be cancelled out. So, we will have here e raised to x, or factoring this will be e raised to x multiplied by x plus 1. So, you can present your answer like this. Okay? So, let's have the second solution. So, solution 2. So, as I've said, y is equal to e raised to x plus ln of x. You can write it as e raised to x multiplied by e raised to ln of x. So, same base, add exponent. So, again, we produced e raised to ln, and that has the value of 1. Therefore, our y is simply e raised to x multiplied by x. Therefore, y is simply x e raised to x. So, when you get the derivative of this by derivative of product, so copy si x, then derivative of e raised to x is e raised to x times derivative of x is 1. Plus, copy natin si e raised to x, then the derivative of x is 1. So, y prime is equal to x, e raised to x, plus e raised to x. So, that is the same. So, or y prime is equal to e raised to x multiplied by x plus 1. So, by the application of properties, we can arrive with the same answer. So, exponential, we just applied loss of exponents. So, let's proceed. So, let's try problems 8 to 12. Okay, let's have problem number 8. So for the problem number 8, we have y is equal to e raised to x minus e raised to negative x divided by e raised to x plus e raised to negative x. Okay, so let's write it like this. So e raised to x minus e raised to negative x multiplied by e raised to x plus e raised to negative x all raised to negative 1. So itaas lang natin. Then again, let's apply derivative of product. So y prime is equal to copy yung first factor, that is e raised to x minus e raised to negative x. Then take the derivative of this, so that is negative 1. Then copy, that is e raised to x plus e raised to negative x. So negative 1 minus 1, that is negative 2. Multiplied by the derivative of e raised to x plus e raised to negative x. So the derivative of e raised to x is e raised to x times 1. Then plus the derivative of e raised to negative x is e raised to negative x times derivative of negative x is equal to negative 1. Then, yung kabila naman. So, nakamultiply ito sa buo. Okay? Plus, copy naman natin si e raised to x plus e raised to negative x raised to negative 1. And let's get the derivative of the first part. So the derivative of e raised to x is e raised to x minus the derivative of e raised to negative x is e raised to negative x times negative 1. Okay, so let's simplify. So we have negative, so that is negative of e raised to x minus e raised to negative x. So ibaba lang natin to. Ito mo ng positive. So we have e raised to positive x, then negative, so minus e raised to negative x. Okay, divided by e raised to x plus e raised to negative x being square. So that is e raised to x minus e raised to negative x times negative, then e raised to x, negative, e raised to negative x all over e raised to x plus e raised to negative x being square. Plus, okay, so in this one, so we have e raised to x, so negative, so this will be positive e raised to negative x all over e raised to x plus e raised to negative x. Okay, so notice these functions are the same. We can cancel this one, make it 1. Okay, hindi siya magsi-0. Instead, it will be 1. So our y prime is equal to, so same base, we can add it, so that is add its exponent, so e raised to x minus e raised to negative x, then yung buo being square all over e raised to x plus e raised to negative x being square, then plus 1. Okay, so you can write your answer like this one, or so you can simplify it. So simplifying, so expand lang natin yung numerator. So that is negative of square the first term, so that is a raised to 2x. Then minus the product of, so 2 times e raised to x and e raised to negative x, and plus squaring the last term. So e raised to negative 2x. Okay, divided by uh, e raised to x plus e raised to negative x being square, then plus 1. So simplifying this, we will have y prime is equal to negative of e raised to 2x. So same base, add exponent, that will be e raised to 0, which is any function raised to 0 has the value of 1. So 2 lang yung matitira dito. Plus e raised to negative 2x. Then plus 1. So all over e raised to x plus e raised to negative x being square. Then, so y prime natin is equal to negative e raised to 2x minus 2 plus e raised to negative 2x. So let's get the LCD. So obviously the LCD here will be e raised to x plus e raised to negative x being square. Pagsamahin lang natin. So this one divided by this one, ito yung lalabas. Then plus, so divide lang natin ng 1. So meron dito e raised to x plus e raised to negative x being square. So let's expand. So distribute na din natin si negative. So we have negative e raised to 2x plus 2 minus e raised to negative 2x. Then square the first term. So that is e raised to 2x. Product of first and second times 2. So again, that is simply 2. Because that is e raised to x times e raised to negative x, that is e raised to 0. And any function raised to 0 has the value of 1 times 2. So that is simply 2. And plus, square the last term, that is e raised to negative 2x. Then divided by e raised to x plus e raised to negative x being square. Okay, so we can cancel out these values. So we only have 2 plus 2. So our y prime is simply 4 all over e raised to x plus e raised to negative x being square. So this will be our final answer. Or you may present this part as your answer. Okay, so even without expansion. So okay na din naman ito. So pinresent ko lang in simplified form. Okay, so let's proceed for problem number 9. Okay, for problem number 9, so we have y is equal to ln of sine of e raised to x. So let's have u is equal to sine of e raised to x. So when we get the derivative of u with respect to x, that is simply cosine of e raised to x multiplied by the derivative of e raised to x, so that is e raised to x multiplied by the derivative of x there, which is 1. So let's simplify. The derivative of u with respect to x is e raised to x cosine of e raised to x. Therefore, our y is simply ln of u. And when we get the derivative of ln of u, that is derivative of u with respect to x divided by u. Therefore, y prime is derivative of u with respect to x. So we have it as e raised to x multiplied by cosine of e raised to x divided by u, which is sine of e raised to x. So we can simplify this because we can write it as e raised to x cosine over sine, that is simply cotangent of e raised to x. Okay. And let's proceed for problem number 10. For number 10, we have y is equal to x raised to 5 multiplied by e raised to negative 3 ln of x. Okay? So we can use derivative of product again. So derivative of product, so copy natin si x raised to 5 multiplied by the derivative of e raised to negative 3 ln of x. So that is the derivative of e raised to u. So it is e raised to u, okay, multiplied by the derivative of u, or the derivative of the exponent, which is negative 3 ln of x. So the derivative of negative 3 ln of x is simply negative 3. Then the derivative of ln of x is derivative of x over x. Derivative of x is 1 over x. Okay, so copy, then take the derivative. So e raised to u, derivative of u with respect to x. So derivative ng ln natin is derivative of u divided by u. Plus, copy natin si e raised to negative 3 ln of x multiplied by derivative of x raised to 5 is 5 x raised to 4. So let's simplify this. Y prime is, so x raised to 5. So we have negative 3 x raised to 5 times e raised to negative 3 ln of x over x plus 5 x raised to 4 times e raised to negative 3 ln of x. So we can cancel this. Therefore, y prime is equal to negative 3 x raised to 4 e raised to negative 3 ln of x plus 5 x raised to 4 e raised to negative 3 ln of x. So we can combine these terms because they are similar. So y prime is 2 x raised to 4 e raised to negative 3 ln of x. Then, applying properties of logarithm, we can have it as e raised to, so yung negative 3 natin, tataas natin, making this ln of x raised to negative 3. And as discussed a while ago, e raised to ln can be cancelled out. Therefore, our y prime is equal to 2x raised to 4 multiplied by x raised to negative 3. So, bababa lang yung exponent. So, therefore, Simplifying this, y prime is simply 2x. Okay, multiplying this, same base and exponent. 4 plus negative 3 is 1, therefore y prime is simply 2x. Okay, so for the second solution, let's present the second solution of problem number 10. So number 10, solution 2. So we have y. So for number 10, we have y is equal to x raised to 5 e raised to negative 3 ln of x. So even from the beginning, we can apply the property of logarithm. So making it x raised to 5 e raised to ln of x raised to negative 3, we can cancel out a raised to ln. Making it y is x raised to 5 multiplied by x raised to negative 3. So our y is simply x squared. So same base, add exponent. So when we get the derivative of this, that is simply 2x. So we will arrive with the same answer. Okay, so let's continue with the last two problems. So problem number 11. So for number 11, we have y is equal to e raised to x over x. Okay, so we can write it as y is equal to e raised to x multiplied by x raised to negative 1. So again, we can apply derivative of product here. So y prime is equal to, copy si e raised to x times derivative of x raised to negative 1. So negative 1x, negative 1 minus 1, that is negative 2. Multiplied by the derivative of x, which is 1. Plus, copy naman si x raised to negative 1 multiplied by derivative of a raised to x is a raised to x times derivative of x, which is 1. So simplifying this, we have y prime is negative e raised to x all over x squared plus e raised to x over x. So applying, so simplifying this by getting the LCD, so we have x squared. So copy lang ito, we have negative e raised to x plus x squared divided by x is x multiplied sa numerator, so that is x e raised to x. So our y prime is, so by i-rearrange lang natin, so that is e raised to x multiplied by x minus 1 all over x squared. So this is our first derivative. Okay, so let's have our last problem, problem number 12. For problem number 12, we have y is equal to x e raised to x. Okay, so in this case, so notice that we do not have this form, or we do not have the formula for this form, because we only have the formula for x raised to n. That is the general power formula. So where n is a constant number, or a any constant value. So in this case, we have x raised to function of x, and we do not have that formula for that. Okay, ang meron lang tayo, pakita natin. So in this case, we have the base to be a whole number raised to a function of x. So that is our formula for the derivative of exponential function. So we have a constant base and raised to function of x. Then, going back with the first formula that we discussed, so we have the derivative of the general power formula. So that is x raised to n, where n is any constant number. So a function of x raised to any constant, or constant raised to function of x. And based on our given, with problem number 12, we have function of x raised to function of x. And since we do not have any formula existing for this type, we'll be using some manipulations. Okay? So, we'll be applying properties of exponent, laws of exponent, and properties of logarithm combined. So, we'll be manipulating our given. Okay? So again, dahil wala tayong formula para sa ganitong form na function of x raised to function of x, kasi meron tayo ay function of x raised to constant. Yun yung general power formula. At yung dinidiscuss natin na constant raised to function of x. But in this case, we are given with function of x as the base and function of x as the exponent. So when you encounter this type of problem, this will be the proper solution. So for problem number 12, so again, we'll be applying manipulation here. So kuhanin ko muna. That is y is equal to x raised to e raised to x. So let's manipulate this by, first things first, taking ln, or the natural logarithm of both sides. I-ln natin both sides. So taking ln of both sides, so we will have ln of y is equal to ln of x multiplied by ln of x e raised to x. Okay? So we can simplify this. So we can have ln of y. So pwede natin ibaba si e raised to x multiplied by ln of x. Applying property of logarithm. Then, we do not have the derivative for this form. So kailangan maibalik ulit natin to sa original given, which is y. So since we have ln here, so what will happen when we raise this equation with e? So i-raise natin both sides of the equation with e. So we will have e raised to ln of y is equal to e raised to x multiplied by e raised to ln of x. Sorry. So naka-multiply lang siya dyan. So e raised to x times ln of x. Okay? So, as we are always discussing, we can cancel out this. So, therefore, now our y is in the form of e raised to x multiplied by ln of x. So, yung base natin, instead of using x as the base, we use the base now. Ang base na natin ay e, of which we have the formula for this form. So, we have e, and this is function of x. So, e raised to u. So, we can apply the formula that we are discussing. So, kanina hindi, kasi walang form na ganon. So, we apply manipulation so that we arrive with the form that we have the formula. So, ang target natin lagi ay madala yung ating given sa form na meron tayong formula. Since we do not have the formula for function of x raised to function of x, nagkaroon tayo ng manipulation so that we can transform our given to a form that we have the formula. So take note of those things. Okay, so in solving this, so we can let u is equal to yung exponent natin, that is e raised to x multiplied by ln of x. Therefore, when we get the derivative of u with respect to x, so that is derivative of product. So derivative of product, so that is copy. Derivative of ln of x is 1 over x. Plus, copy naman si ln of x. Then derivative of e raised to x is e raised to x, derivative of x is simply 1. So simplifying this, the derivative of u with respect to x is equal to e raised to x over x plus e raised to x ln of x. So that is our derivative of u with respect to x. And with that, we can transform our y. So, ito na lang. Now, our y is equal to, baka na lang din eh. So, our y is now equal to e. Okay? So, yung e natin, so this part is u. Okay? So, we have y is equal to e raised to u. So, when we get the derivative of this, so y prime is simply e raised to u times derivative of u with respect to x. Substituting, our y prime becomes e raised to u. So that is e raised to x multiplied by ln of x multiplied by du over dx. So du over dx natin, that is e raised to x over x plus e raised to x ln of x. So this is our answer. So let's just simplify this. Okay? So when we simplify this one, applying property of logarithm, so that is e. Okay, so I will raise this, so I will make it ln of x raised to e raised to x. So applying property of logarithm, ito itataas ko lang doon. Multiplied by e raised to x over x plus e raised to x ln of x. So we have e raised to ln here, so we can cancel it out. So therefore, our first derivative, bababa na lang yon, that is x e raised to x multiplied by e raised to x over x plus e raised to x ln of x. So, factor lang natin yung common monomial. So, y prime is e raised to x. Nalabas ko lang yon. So, that is x e raised to x multiplied by, so unahin ko lang si ln of x plus 1 over x. So this will be our final answer. Okay? So, doon sa problem number 12, nagkaroon lang tayo ng kaunting twist. Okay? So, we just applied properties of logarithm and laws of exponent in manipulation. Okay? So, that's it for our topic for today. Derivative of exponential function. So, kagaya dun sa trigonometric function, sa algebraic function, sa logarithmic function, knowledge on properties, knowledge on rules governing exponential function will help us simplifying. So, pag marunong tayo ng laws of exponent, makakapitalize natin yon, we can use it to simplify or to make our given simpler para hindi siya maging mahirap i-differentiate. Okay? Else magiging mas mahaba or magiging mas komplikado or sometimes medyo mukhang imposible para siya ay masolve. So, this will be the last topic for the differentiation formulas. So we already discussed derivative of algebraic function, derivative of trigonometric function, derivative of inverse trigonometric function, derivative of logarithmic function, derivative of exponential function. So we will skip derivative of hyperbolic functions because that is simply the same with the derivative ng trigonometric function. Okay? So, yon. So since we discussed the differentiation formulas of the following functions, algebraic, trigonometric, exponential, and logarithmic, as well as inverse trigonometric, it is noted that knowledge on sa algebraic function, knowledge on special products, factoring, pagdating naman ng trigonometric function, the identities, trigonometric identities, sa logarithmic function, properties of logarithm. Sa exponential function ay laws of exponents. So, those things kailangan alam. Okay? So, dapat ay alam kung paano ginagamit. You should familiarize yourselves with those things. Okay? So, yung mga functions tungkol doon, as well as the differentiation formulas for all the functions therein. So, that's it for today sa ating Calculus 1.